Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We would like to welcome you to the first session of Wisdom EU, organized by Human Resource Development Unit of the University for the new year in 2026. The topic that we are starting today is going to be very topical and mindful as well. The topic that we are focusing is on mindful planning and construction of your house. To share with us on this, we have got probably the best person in the country. That is none other than Dr. Udaya Dissanayake. He's a chartered engineer and he has many academic and professional accolades. And what is important is he's a thorough practitioner of mindfulness and construction. So, without much ado, while welcoming all of you very warmly for this session, I would invite Dr. Udaya Dissanayake to enlighten us on mindful planning and construction of your house. Dr. Dissanayake, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chandana, for very kind introduction. I was forced to give witnesses in a court a couple of times, not by choice but by compulsion. So in the courts, the lawyer from the other side, so he first asked me, "What is your academic qualification?" And then after that, he asked, "What is your professional qualification?" Then he asked me, "What is your experience?" So Dr. Chandana is also a lawyer. So therefore, when he invited me to do this presentation, I thought better to put the qualification in the first slide and then continue the presentation. Thank you very much, Dr. Chandana. I think I am happy that I have got this opportunity to share my knowledge with those who are thinking of building a house. So those who have some other matters to be discussed related to the house construction here. So thank you. This constructing a house is not a rocket science. No, it is a very, even without the architect, engineers, you can by yourself you can do that, right? I think that is how long ago people used to do. So it is actually common sense what I am going to discuss in the next maybe 45 minutes. 1 hour is just common sense, but I will try to put it in a some way so that you can, if you have to face this construction work again, so you can consider. I mean, there will be some information for your thoughts, right? So these are the basic areas I am going to cover. This how to select a land, and how to select the architectural services. Uh, Deciding the floor area is a very important one because that is directly related to the budget of the construction work, and then selection of engineering related services, uh, selection of contract, and then finally mindful construction, right? Okay. Now if you want to, when you want to select a land to do the construction work, obviously the best first thing is you will have to consider the access, right? because for the construction work and also for the usage, we will need the access. And I think usually there is no problem related to that. But what is important is the width of the road. Uh, at least in order to give proper access to a land, you need a road of at least 8 feet width. So better to have 10. If it is a large that blocking out done by some private company, they will provide 20 feet road so that two vehicles can pass, right? And then water, electricity, of course, now in the new generation, that Wi-Fi connection, fiber optic cable, and all that. And then slope of the land is a very important matter, especially related to what happened during this cyclone and that aftermath of that, and flooding of river, stormwater disposal, and public sewer line. Um, so those are the. So I will. I think most of the things here are, I think, general things. But from my experience, I would like to emphasize on the slope of the land. So that is since most of us are living in Kandy, central hilly area. I think there is no escape. So if you go to purchase a land, either it is downwards or it is sloping upwards, right? So it is very rare you can find a flat land in Kandy area. Even if you find it, the cost of that will be very, very high. So therefore, that especially for the young people who are planning to do the construction work now, I think from a maybe land selling or from a private owner, you will have to go for this slopey land. So what I have shown here is that this uh, you can see the profile of the ground starting from the your left hand side, then it is sloping towards the right hand side. So and you have the middle, at the middle of that you have the road, right? So if you take purchase a land on the sloping slide, mm, then you will have to have construct your house on columns, as indicated in this one. So you will have to bring maybe you can go one floor down, one or two floor down, but whatever it is, that it will be supported on columns, right? I will show some diagrams after that. Then the other option is, if you select a land on the hillside, then in order to have a proper access, you will have to do a lot of excavation. So both issues are there, but I am not telling that one is better than the other, but I think that is the reality you will have to face. So you will have to do some that you will need some um, consideration about that, right? So I will show you some diagrams here. The diagram on the top left hand corner is about constructing on the sloping side. So you can see that all the construction works are on column, and then the other diagram, the right hand side corner, top corner, you can see that the construction was done by cutting the embankment into the land, so that you will have to have a retaining wall. So either you will have, so these two, I think there is no escape in Kandy area. You will have to uh, uh, go for one of these options. Okay. Then after you selecting the land, you will have to get the service from an architect. So I think that when it comes to the architectural services, there are people with different levels of qualification, right? So you can get the service of a chartered architect. That means a person who has got a degree, first degree uh, in architect, and then master's degree together with the charter. So that is an experienced person with. And then you have architects. That means they have a first degree in the architect, but not the masters. Maybe with the masters, but without the charter. right? So that is the next level. Then there is another category which is called architectural designers. They don't have a degree, but they have something like a diploma given by the Institute of Architects after, I think, following some courses and sitting for the exam. So they are also qualified to do that. So when you apply for the approvals, you will need their signatures to be submitted with the application to the local council. Then there are, of course, less qualified people in the let's say paper qualification, but I'm not saying that they are not capable of doing the work, but there can be technical officers who are working in the government or private organization. They also sometimes engage in this type of work, and there are experienced draft persons also. So there is a, what I want to emphasize is that there is a different level of service you can get. So you have to be, when you approach an architect, you can, I think, ask that person what type of a qualification you have, because if your building is for a different category of people, there is a flow area, right? So if you are applying for a building, let's say with 10,000 square feet, then it has to be signed by a chartered architect. Like that, there is some limitation. So therefore, you have to be mindful of this, the professional, the level of the professional you are approaching, right? Then this is after practicing as a structural engineer for a long time. The second one is some observation I have made, and I give that as advice to people who ask, when they say, can you recommend a good architect to me? Like that, I think when I practice from our university staff or the other people I come across socially, they ask me to recommend. So the this is a very important factor you have to consider. That means that that the different architects have different styles, right? Therefore, if you want, when you select the architect, better to check uh, the work that done by that person previously, so that you can get some idea about the type of designs that person is doing. For an example, for a person who is doing a Kandian style, right? Kandian style architecture, it will be very difficult for that architect to go for this modern box type of design, right? Because that architect, I think this not like structural engineering is done from the right hand side of the brain, and architecture is, I think, done from the left hand side of the brain. So once the brain is trained for some, this, because it's a subjective thing, right? Beautiful, word beautiful is a subjective. So for some people, particular house may be beautiful but for some other person it is not so. Therefore, this, when you select the architect, first look at the work he has done previously, and then s- s- select a person who is, if you want to go for a box type of house, select an architect who is doing that type of design. So I think you have got my point. If you select an architect who is doing a colonial type of design and try to force him to do a box type of building, then I think it is going to be a disaster, right? So both the architect and the client will be unhappy at the end of the day, right? Okay, then about the range of services. So this is also important because there is a different level of services you can get from the uh, architect. That means the basic level is council approval drawing. Hmm. That means that architect will give you the basic drawing, floor plans of the building, elevation of the building, cross section, etc. So which in the drawn in the survey plan, so that you can submit that drawing for the council approval. And then there is another level of service. That means council drawing plus detailed drawing. That means the architect will give you the design of doors, windows, how the this that toilets, the arrangement inside the toilet, the wash basin, that shower area, that all these things are arranged. And then color of the all the different part of the house, and tile, how the tiles are laid, and how the finishing is done. So that is a fairly extensive work. So you can go for that level of service also. Then uh, preparation of BOQ and estimate. So that is usually done by the quantity survey, but that architect will maybe get the service of a quantity survey and prepare a BOQ and estimate. And then mm, uh, once if you want to select a contractor, then that the you will have to tender and call for a tender and select a person. So that part is also done, can be done. So and then the construction project management, right, during the construction period, correct management, and also 3D model of the house, as you can see in this slide. That type, so different type of services are available. So when you meet the architect to get this service, you can mm, I mean, get some idea, or you have to clearly, I think the architect will also have to tell that to the client, because that the client, when they meet the architect, maybe that is the first house they are going to build, so they are not aware about all these things. um, so but I think um, this, depending on your requirement, you can go for a, so there will be a different level of fee. That my understanding is, for the preparation of the council drawing, the architect will charge about 1 to 2% of the estimated cost of the building. And when you go for these additional services, the rate will go up, right? Okay, then as a, if you are going to build the house, maybe your first house, there is a very important decision you will have to make. That is about the cost of the you have to, because there's a budget, right? Everybody, when they are planning, thinking of constructing a house, there is a budget in their mind. Maybe from the savings, or taking a loan from the bank, and maybe selling a property you have inherited from your parents, or whatever it is. So then there is a certain amount of budget in your mind. So I suggest that uh, depending on your budget, you select a flow area, right? You select a flow area in advance, and then you discuss with the architect, because I have seen several occasions that without thinking about the flow area, that people will go for a fairly relatively large house, and then they will have a difficulty in finishing that. So um, this is how I think you can see how to find the flow area. If you have a budget of, let's say, 100, that maybe 20 million, then you can think about what is the flow. You can divide it by the construction rate, and you can find the flow area of the building. So here I have given an indication about how the cost of construction was increasing. I was surprised to see that there is some sort of every 5 year it looks like some linear variation, and all of a sudden, I think during the economic downturn, the cost was increased by that about in 2020 to 2020, that area, that cost was increased due to this that economic downturn. But later it came down again. Now the cost of construction for a house is around 12,000, 10,000, 12,000 rupees per square feet. And I think with this that the problems we have encountered due to the cyclone, that there were a lot of infrastructure damage, And I think in the near future, there will be some considerable demand for the construction material. So therefore, my understanding is that cost of construction is going to raise uh, in the near future, because we everybody is targeting for the same amount of raw material, no sand, cement. We don't have a very that there is a certain level of production. So if there are a lot of demand, the cost will go up, right? So therefore, I think if you are planning it now, maybe considering 12,000 rupees per square feet, and then you divide your budget by the square feet, and then you can think about the floor area of the house. So now, when you are building the house for the first time, I think that you don't have much idea about the that what is the floor area, the limit. So the let's say if I call if let's say I think I have tried to categorize that into four areas: small house, average house, spacious house, and large house. So small house is about let's say up to 1,500 square feet, right? So where you can have two bedrooms, living and dining rooms together, and a common toilet. So that will be around 1,200 square feet. So that is a small house. And then average house means you have three four bedrooms, maybe two of the bedrooms have attached toilet and another common toilet, separate living and dining. So that will come up to about 3,000 square feet, right? And then spacious house is four to five bedrooms, attached toilet in every room, large garage, pantry, kitchen separate. All when you try to uh, plan a house like that, the floor area will come to about, I think, nearly 4,000 square feet. And then, of course, if you don't have any budgetary limit, there is no limit. Legally also there is no limit. You can have construct a house of any number of floor area. 15th, I can remember doing houses with 15,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet. So that's okay. I am uh, I prefer, I think, people with lot of spare money constructing large houses, because construction is the that one of the activities which disperse money, I think, to different levels, right? So when construction, that cost, the money will go to the hardware, money will go to the contractor, money will go to the laborer, and from the laborer, that money will go to the small boutique in the village. Like that, I think there's a uh, according to my understanding, I am not an economist, but I think that is one of the best way of dispersing the money uh, in the country. So when the construction is stagnated, I think everybody can feel that there is some problem, right? So that gives you some idea about the when you try to calculate the floor area. This will give some idea about which range your house is falling, and also that even though the general thinking is that the you the structure of the house, you have to use a lot of steel and concrete, and steel is very expensive. So because of that, the structure of the house is very expensive, but it is not so. Usually the cost of the structure and the including the roof is around 40%, 45% maximum, right? Most of the cost is involved with the finishes, right? After that, you have to have the tile, floor finishes, light fittings, and that type of thing. So that is the, and of course, for that there is no limit now. So you can have a gold plated that accessories in the toilet. So cost will go up, right? So therefore, that cost of structure is, I think, even if you go for a slopey land or with a retaining wall, it will not go beyond 50%. Usually around in between 40 and 50. Hmm. So that way you can I think this will give you some information to arrange your cash flow, right? Because whatever the budget you have planned, you will not have all the money. I don't think there is anybody, very few people who will start the construction now of the house with all the funds in their hand. So they will have, they have some plan to this obtain funds at different levels. So you can see that maybe if you want to finish the structure of the building and the roof, then you can see that from this information you can calculate how much of the budget you need initially, and then how much is the budget you want for the finishing work. And of course, earlier, now not very common, but still there are, in addition to the architect and the structural engineer, there you will need some input from some other professional also. Maybe not for all the houses, but let's say, but I, for the sake of completion, I have put other professionals also. Structural engineer will provide the structural drawings. That means the drawings required for the construction work. Let's say the size of the bases, columns, reinforcement in the slabs, and retaining walls. That type of information is provided by the structural engineer, and the electrical engineer will provide the wiring diagrams. The architect will give you the lighting arrangement, what is where you have to put the lights and what is the light level. And then the electrical engineer will provide the wiring for the lights, air conditioning, lift, and all those things, if all those are there. And uh, for actually for a house, we don't need all this engineering input. But if you are build I mean thinking of building a something like a small hotel, because that is very common in Kandy. We have lot of hotels with about 24 25 rooms. So then you will need that electrical engineer, then plumbing, uh, wastewater, that treatment, some professional input is required, and quantity surveyor to prepare the BOQ and the estimate, and mechanical engineer will look after the specification of the air conditioning, and if there is a lift, that type of work. So um, I have briefly outlined that type of the usual values of the professional fee for this type of input. Okay, then we will. This is again an important factor, I think, for the person who is starting to construct the house for the first time. How the construction is done. So there are actually three common options. First one, we call it as a full contract. Hmm. We call it as a full contract. So we will give the full contract to the contractor. So he will, and then the other one is we call it as a labor only contract. So the client will supply the material and contractor will supply the labor. So, and daily pay is that uh, you don't give the contract, you will hire the laborers, direct labor forces, the skilled and unskilled labor directly, and then you pay for them, right? So if let's so all these things have, uh, I mean, like everything else in the life, you have good side and also the bad side. So if you go into the full contract, then you don't have to worry. I mean, you have to come and see the site regularly, to make sure that the quality is acceptable. But only thing you will have to do is you will have to pay the bill of the contractor at the when it is submitted, right? So you don't have to go look for a material, you don't have to go to the hardware shop, but you have to that is only the, but you will have accessories, maybe you will have to select. So that is relatively uh, one good thing is that if it is a contractor, full contract, usually they have a skilled labor for different things. Let's say for the concrete work, they have a separate team. For the wall construction, they have the separate team, masonry. And for the plumbing, so they have separate subgroups. So quality of work can be improved if the full contract is given. but the you will have to pay for the profit margin of the contractors of yours for the construction for the because he is doing a business, so he will have a certain margin, so we will have to pay for that margin, but I think less trouble for the client, right? Then labor only contract is that you supply the cement, steel, sand, and timber, tiles, and whatever it is, and you employ a labor contractor, so he will charge for the work done. Let's say if he's constructing a column, then for a 1 feet of column he will charge certain value. 1 square feet of the slab he will charge a certain value, like that for the walls, so he will charge separately, like that you will have to pay for the work he has done. So I think that is a fairly um, I think balanced one. So I think you will have to the you will have only have to pay for the work done by the contractor. So he will manage his own team, skilled people, unskilled people, and so on. But that problem with that one of the we have encountered is that material wastage. So when the material is supplied by the client, the contractor is not that keen about saving the material, so there is some higher material wastage. So in the full contract case, there will be a supervisor at the site, and the contractor will be very careful when he is supplying the material, so he is protecting that, and I think the there is a better control of that. And daily pay is I think now it is not very much practice. Earlier this used to be the common one, because one thing is the we don't get the people with those who come for daily pay, they don't have the necessary skills. So I think the client will have a difficulty, because you that the mean most of us don't build several houses, no, maybe only one house, and by the time you start constructing of a house, you also don't know much about construction, and if the contractor, the basunya, is also does not know, then there is a problem. There will be complications and then unnecessary problems. So therefore my experience is that um, I think it is, if you go for a labor contract, it is balanced. You don't have to pay a lot of overhead, and I think that you don't have to worry about controlling the labor. So I think work is also done in a fairly good speed. Then of course other factors to be considered. Now I think we came step by step. We got the architectural services, and then we discussed selection of the land, selection of the architectural services, and then engineering services, selecting a contractor, and then now we are going to start the actual construction work. um, so when you select the contractor, I think it is good to get reference from a previous client. I consider that as the most important aspect, because um, that uh, this is a you are dealing with that's a serious work, no? So if the contractor has done a low quality job, and if he has left the construction site halfway, I think all your money is lost, and you are in a very difficult position. You will that your budget will go nowhere, and then I think that's you have to go through a lot of difficulties. So therefore reference from the I have noticed that reference from the previous clients is working well. And also that if you have a your family, or if you have your friends have a long term relationship with the basunne, I think that's good. So then I think that person is loyal to you and your family, and they don't do uh, bad work and then disappear at the middle of the construction work. So I think that is important thing. And also during the even if you have given it on full contract basis, the client will have to visit the site very regularly and see whether things are going on according to your requirement, because um, it is very difficult to visualize, right, when you look at a plan, because if you are not familiar, by just looking at the plans you cannot decide on the dimensions of certain things. You don't see the scale properly. So if you visit the site previous frequently, then you cannot do a lot of changes, but you can, as you go on, you can do some minor changes also. And then you can that when you visit the site regularly, that the contractor will also take it seriously, and then he will try to do a better job. And uh, other thing is, of course, the financial stability of the contractor, because sometimes you will have to pay that person in advance, and if the financial stability of the contractor is not there, he may invest that money into some other project, and then the progress of your project will be very low. So you have to be careful about that, right? And um, okay, I don't want to go into a lot of details uh, in this, because but there are some basic things that we will have to consider during the construction. First one is the setting out of the building. Uh, at present, we have a fairly small areas of land. I think earlier our parents, maybe they used to have large areas. Our grandparents, they were using acres, and then our parents were using maybe half a acre or quarter of an acre. But now we have come to 10 perches, 12 perches, so fairly small land. So therefore, if when you set up, and there are, if you are buying it from a land sale, you have a large number of blocks from on both sides of your land. And so if you don't do the setting out, the roof will go to the other land, so there will be a lot of complication. So setting out is important, and formation level is also important, especially I think during this that our that flooding period. Depending on the ground level, you have to decide on what is the flow area of your house is. And this checking the soil condition, ground condition is important. uh, Retaining walls, storm water diversion, material storage, facilities for the contract staff, and so on. So there are certain things I think you will have to consider. So we will have to uh, give attention to those factors. I don't go those things one by one. um, and the usually the time period allocated for the construction of a house, I think 1 year, side 3,500 building. And if you have some reasonable cash flow, then you can definitely finish it within 1.5 years. And cash flow management is important. You don't, as I said, uh, very few people have all the money in their hand by the time they start the construction work, but you have to have some arrangement with the banks or some other means to get the funding as the construction work is going on. um, this response and of course this paying as the client, it is very important that you pay the contractor in the correct time, because of course contractor is also uh, doing a job, and he will have to pay for his staff. So that is paying the contractor in a proper way is very important. Otherwise they have difficulty in proceeding the project in a smooth manner. And I suggest that even if you are getting the service of a that it is good to get the service of a quantity survey to check the bills, because even if it is a full contract or a labor contract, that Basuna will give you bills once in a while. And if you are not a professional building, if you are not done, I mean, if you are not in the building construction area, you will need the support of a quantity survey to do the bills, right? Okay, so I think this is about the construction. This is the mainly thing I want to do. Then I come to the uh, ad, I will have a U-turn and go to the other topic I want to discuss, which is not directly related to the building construction. So it is like, I think there is a Sinhala saying that Mekkage Katawa. Hmm? No? So I think I also cannot uh, dis- do any presentation without mindfulness. So then I will, uh, from next slide, I will see how mindfulness can be related to the house construction. Uh, okay. I don't want to go into the definition of the mindfulness, but uh, I have been similar to the structural engineering. I have been practicing for more than 25 years, and mindfulness I have been practicing for more than, I think, 15 years. Uh, I mm, I consider that there is a very strong influence of that in the way I am looking at the life and the problems. So I suggest that when you are constructing the house, you will create some space to practice the mindfulness as well. So if you have not heard about the mindfulness, let me uh, take 2-3 minutes to tell what is mindfulness, and then I will go to the construction aspect of that. um, okay. uh, I am not a medical person. My basic qualification is civil engineering, but according to what I have read in a uh, uh, that if you take a normal person, uh, feelings, thoughts, and uh, sensations, there are about, I think, 60 to 100 feelings or thoughts going through your mind within 1 second, right? So there is a, and if you take some time and look at the things come to you in your mind without your intention, hmm, those comes without your intention, no? So you don't want to think about certain things, but automatically that those things comes into your mind, right? So if you carefully take some time and carefully look at the things come into your mind, you will see that most of the things are related to the future and the past. Hmm? That means you will, let's say, now you will, when you come and sit here to hear this presentation, maybe you will, the thing comes into your mind, maybe something happened in your office today morning, right? If you have scolded somebody, or if some other person has scolded you, then that will come into your mind. So that is something from the past, right? And then similarly, that if you want to build the house, let's say, and if your budget is maybe 220 million, you will think, I have only 5 million now, how can I raise the remaining 15 million, like that? So that is, you are thinking about something in the future. So both these situations, right, when your mind goes to the past and when your mind goes to the future, both will create lot of pressure. There is, when it goes to the past, you have sorrow, you always depend on that. You think that it is good if that does not happen, right? And when your mind goes into the future, there is a anxiety, right? There is a pressure, right? You don't know whether you can realize that or not. So when your mind is at past, in the past and the future, there is always pressure, lot of stress in your mind without your knowledge. So what mindful does is bring your mind to the present moment. When you do the mindful practice, that helps you to bring your mind to the present moment, right? So this is actually my house, uh, where we live now. So we have this space. This is called mindful working space, mindful walking space, your house, in our house. So that is not a very. I will go to the drawing. It is this next shade. So this is it is just a. You have seen the photograph. It is uh, it's a very simple construction. You have a walking path. The length of the walking path is about 40 feet, and the width of that, I think, for a single person, if you have 2.5 feet, that is more than adequate. And the other diagram on the right hand side gives the cross section. So you need some, brick or masonry walls on all four sides to keep the walking path at a little bit raised elevation. Then you have to compact some clay, and on the top of that you can have a sand layer of about 3 inches, right? So I think you got the idea. This length is about 40 feet, width is 12 and a half, so sorry, 2.5 feet. So you can see the construction that here in our house, that the two sides walls are made out of brick, and that is the walk path. Of course, both myself and my wife, we are practicing, so therefore we have two paths, so that we can, when without fighting with each other, we can, if anybody wants to walk, that is free. And that is actually that in that picture on the right hand side, it is my father, who is nearly 90 years of age, and I am very happy to see that he's doing the walking for about half an hour, two times after morning breakfast. 9 o'clock he's walking, and after the evening tea, 5 o'clock he's walking. So I think because of that, he has very less health problem, I suppose. Um, so I suggest that when you construct your house, you try to keep some space for mindful walking. I am not going. I don't think this is time for explain how to do the mindful walking. So I have put some two video clips at the bottom here. When we share this presentation, you can click that mindful walking demo video in English and mindful walking demo video in Sinhala, and that is about maybe 10-20 minutes presentation. So you can see how the mindful walking is done. Mm. So there are actually a lot of benefits from mindful practice. Uh, First one is, as I said before, when your mind comes to the present moment, stress is reduced. There is no stress when your mind is and in the at the present moment. And again, I even though I am not a medical professional, there are some medical things now I have to tell. This the physical, that health wise also there is a very big advantage, because as you can see this bottom right hand side bottom picture, all the ends of nerves in some organs are connected to the that bottom side of the your foot, your, right? So you can see that there is a certain part for heart, some parts for the lungs, and some part for the kidney. So when you do this mindful walking, right, walking on the sand in the barefoot, that end of the nerves are going to massage, so that will activate, I think. Please correct me if I am wrong, because I know nothing about medicine. um, but that is going to activate. So if you, and also this definitely I know that uh, if you do the mindful walking just after the meals, that will facilitate the digestion, right? And good sleep. Mm, and there is a lot of scientific research. If you look into the Google, you can see that favorable changes in the brain and the nerve system because of the mindful practice, right? That from the little bit I have read, I can, if you mindful do the mindful practice for let's say about 3 months, then there are physical changes in the brain. Some part of the brain, I think this what is called, that small part called amygdala, is going to reduce that size of that, and this prefrontal gobble, that side part is going to increase. That the amygdala is the part which is associated with that which is hmm? Anxiety. Yeah. That your, let's say, I think in animals, amygdala is larger because they if a cat see a mice, I think that automatically there's a reaction, right? So that human being is not like that. If somebody come and scold you, you are not going to take a knife and uh, hit. No, so that is, I think that type of activity is controlled by the amygdala, and that mindful practice will um, change the way you behave, your behavior, your day to day activities, and blood pressure is going to improve. And I think with, as a result of all these things, that there will be a good interpersonal relationship. So uh, I think now I can tell this now, since my dean period is over. I think the um, the my mindful practice has been very much helpful for it was very much helpful for me to practice do my job as a dean engineer. I think I was, most of some of you were associated with me at that time, and I think it is you, I mean, I don't have you who will have to judge uh, the the behavior of the person, but whether there is any influence from the mindfulness practice in the way you treat yourself and the people who are associated with them. So I mean, you don't have to go to high administration position to get the mindfulness benefit from the mindfulness practice, because even your family, day to day life with your people, other person, your co-workers in the staff. So I think if one person is mindful, doing the mindfulness practice, there is an influence of that to the people working together with him as well. So therefore, this even though it is directly not related to the construction, when you are building a house, please, that is the advice I give to young people from our staff also, who are starting construction of the house. Say that keep a mindfulness for place for the to practice mindfulness in the your house. And of course, keeping that only does not work. You will have to find some time and do the practice also. And as soon as you don't have to wait for a long time, as soon as you do the start practicing, you can feel that there is a difference, and then you like you will get addicted to that, and it is very difficult to live without that. Like exercise also, when you start going to the gym, then you, without, if you don't go, or if you walk after in the evening, then if you don't go for a walk, you will feel little bit uncomfortable. Similar to that, mindfulness practice is also like that. So I suggest that all of you to allocate a space in your house and do the mindfulness practice. That will be beneficial for the entire life. Okay, thank you very much. And so if you want to discuss any questions, I am always happy to answer.
Thank you very much, sir. Excellent presentation you have done. And also, I have some years of experience with working with you as the Dean Faculty of Engineering. So I'm Terence, and I have worked with you because interesting one is Mr. Dr. Chandana sir as well is there. Then I propose that organizing a mindfulness program for the employees of the our university, because I have observed that the lot of problem usually take place without this mindfulness. Several times I have joined with the mindfulness programs you have organized in the Faculty of Engineering. An excellent presentation, and thank you very much for again.
Okay, thank you. I think Dr. Chandan is there. We have tried. We started doing it sometimes back, and because of some technical issues, it was discontinued. We'll try see whether we can reiterate that. No?
Yeah, that's good news. ඇතරම මේ මයින්ෆුල්නස් වැඩසටහන් ගොඩාක් කරා මේ ඩොක්ටර් දිසානායකයි මිසිස් දිසානායකයි දෙන්නම. ඉතින් අපිට ඒක අපහු පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් බොහොම කැමතියි මේ කරදර කරන්න බැරි හින්දා තමයි හිටියේ.
Yeah. No, that is that there was a small there was a medical issue also, that is because
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, that is the thing.
Let's see, it will. I think there will some improvement, and after that we can.
Yeah, because I mean, we are very thankful to both, not only you, but to Mrs. Dissanayake as well. You did, I think, maybe about 20 programs.
Mhm.
අපි ගොඩක් වැඩසටහන් කරා. අපි අපහු කරන්න පුළුවන් වුණොත් අපි කරමු මං හිතන්නේ. ඒක ඉතින් වැදගත් දෙයක ඒ කියන්නේ හරයක වටිනකම දකින කට්ටිය ඒකට ඒවි.
Mhm.
And I must tell you that I am not using it regularly, but when I have time, I try to do that. I was just thinking, okay, I also should have that type of a path. I have seen that at your home, in Gannoru, but I was just thinking I should ask you to visit my place and should have that type of a thing because I think it is good even for children.
Yeah. That's I
Yeah.
think that they catch up much more quickly than the adult.
Yeah.
We think about it, no, that we try to argue from inside you by just walking what type of a benefit you are going to get, like that, no. So but children are not like that. They would like they try by themselves, and then there's a inside there is a automatic improvement.
Exactly, there will be that habit.
And especially that those who are like this some divisional heads, team leaders, that by the end of the day they are highly stressed, no. So what I used to do is I used to go home and about 40 minutes 1 hour that mindful walking, then that stress level reduces to then next day again, otherwise that stress will keep on building up. But when you do the mindfulness, you can bring your mind to the present moment. Not all entire 1 hour, at least for 5 minutes you can bring your mind to the present moment. So then there is no stress. It is like earthing. Stress is ground. So then you are ready for the next day. You are go with as a fresh person, and you can again do the fighting.
So another question that I would like to ask is now when we are building a house, I also calculated from your rates how much is it, but just because we have money, we should not build big houses. And sometimes we have problems in designing our houses. We think we need that or this, but we don't have much idea about the overall structure. සමහර වෙලාවට හදලා බලනකොට හිතුවට වැඩිය ගොඩක් ලොකුයි ඒක. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක මේන්ටේන් කරන්න ගියහම ප්‍රශ්න එනවා. What is your advice on that?
Yes. As I said before, මේ ස්ට්‍රක්චරල් ඉංජිනේර් හැටියට කියන්නේ මම අර කැමති මේ සල්ලි තියෙන කට්ටිය ලොකු ගෙවල් හදනවට මේ මොකද අර මේ නෑ ස්ට්‍රක්චරල් ඉංජිනේර්ට සල්ලිය තින්දනේ අර කලින් කිව්වා වගේ මේ අර ඒ සල්ලි ටික බැංකුවේ දාලා තිබ්බොත් කාටවත් එයා ඒ පුද්ගලයාට ඉතින් ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එකක් එනවා. හැබැයි ඒක අර ওই වගේ ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එකකට කරපුවාම මේ කියන්නේ මේ හાર્ඩ්වෙයාර් ෂොප් එකට සල්ලි යනවා, කන්ට්‍රැක්ටර්ට සල්ලි යනවා, ඒ ලේබරර්ස්ලාට සල්ලි යනවා. අර මනි සල්ලි ටික රීඩිස්ට්‍රිබියුට් වෙනවානේ. ඒකින්ද ඉතින් අර ගොඩක් සල්ලි තියෙන අය ලොකු ගෙදරක් හදන එක ඉතින් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. යාගේ ඉතින් ලයිෆ් ස්ටයිල් එකනේ යා මේවා කරන්නේ. හැබැයි ඉතින් අර දැන් now when I මට දැන් I am little bit more than 60 years. එතකොට අර අපි ලයිෆ් එක දිහා බලන විදිය නෙමෙයි මේ යං කට්ටිය ලයිෆ් එක දිහා බලන්නේ වෙන විදිහකටනේ. එතකොට මේ මම මේ ඩොක්ටර් චන්දන කියපු ගෙත් දෙන සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ඇග්‍රීඩ්. ඒ කියන්නේ ලොකු ඒකට මට හිතෙනවා මේ ක්ලයන්ට්ස්ලාට ඒ අර ගෙදර විශාලත්වය ගැන එච්චරම අදහසක් නැතුව තමයි හදන්නේ කියලා. ඒත් ඉතින් දැන් ඒගොල්ලන් ඉතින් කැමති ඉතින් අර මේ රූෆ් টොප් එකේ ස්විමින් pool එකක් තියෙනවට මේ අර මේ මොකක් හරි ෆිල්ම් බලන්න නිකන් සිනමා පොඩි මිනි තියටර් එකක් තියෙනවට ජිම් එකක් තියෙනවට ඉතින් ඒ යන් අයනේ ඉතින් ඒගොල්ලන් කැමතිනේ. දැන් අපිට වයසක ගිහිල්ලා පඩි පෙළ නැග ගන්න බැරි වුණාට ඉතින් මේ මිනිස්සු පලිතෑනේ. ඒකින්ද ඉතින් මේ අපි ඉතින් ඒකට එහෙම ඩිස්කරේජ් කරන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි මේ මට ඉතින් කීප දෙනෙක්ම කියලා තියෙනවා මේ ඒ දවස්වල මේ වහල උඩ මේ ස්විමින් pool හදාගත්තට දැන් මේක ක්ලීන් කරගන්නවත් යන්න විදියක් නැහැ කියලා. එහෙම ඉතින් එහෙමත් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි ඉතින් එහෙම කියලා ඉතින් කොහොමද ඔකට හරියට එහෙම ඉරක් ගන්න අමාරුයි. ඉතින් අර යාගේ කැමැත්තටනේ ඉතින් හදන්නේ. සමහර අය මේ ගොඩක් අය එහෙම මොකද මේ අනිත් එක දැන් අර දැට් ඒක කියන එකත් හරි නැද්ද දන්නේ නැහැ මේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් දැන් අර ස්ට්‍රක්චරල් ඉංජිනේරගේ රෝල් එක ඉවර වෙනවනේ මේ බිල්ඩින් එකේ ස්ට්‍රක්චරල් ෆ්‍රේම් එක හදලා වහලා ගහලා ඩවුන් පයිප් ටික දාලා ඉවරනම ස්ට්‍රක්චරල් ඉංජිනේරගේ රෝල් එක ඉවරයි. ඊට පස්සේ ඉතින් ආකිටෙක්ගේ රෝල් එකනේ තියෙන්නේ ෆිනිෂින් අරම. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඉතින් අතනින් එහාට ක්ලයන්ට්ලා ඉතින් වැඩි කතා කරන්නේත් නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ ගෙදර හදලා ඉවරනම ඉතින් ඇවිල්ලා බලන්න කියලා කියන්නේ ඉතින් very rarely නේ. ඒතර අපිට අර ගොඩාක්ම ෆීඩ්බැක් එකකුත් නැහැ මේ ඉඳලා ඉట్లా ඉතින් අර ටවුන් එකේ සුපර් මාකට් එකේ හම්බුනාම කියනවා හොඳයි ගෙදර හොඳට තියෙනවා මොකුත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ කියලා. එහෙම ඇරුණාම මේ අර දැන් එහෙම අපිට අර මෙයාට කොහොමද මේ ගෙදර ගැන කියලා එහෙම ලොකු ෆීලිං එකක් එන්නේ අපි කවුරු හරි ළඟ දැන් මේ ළඟින් ඇසෝසියේට් අසුරු කරන කෙනෙක්ගේ නම් එයා කියනවනේ නැත්තම් අරගොල්ලන් ඉතින් හම්බෙන්නේ නැති හින්දා එහෙම කියන්නේ හ්ම් රටකට කියනවා යාට දුක් සම්පූර්ණ ඒකේ විතරම වැඩ කරන්නේ හ්ම් කියක් දෙපුවාම අපු දැන් පරිදා අපි පොඩි කියලා කරලා අමාරු අපිට වයරට ඕනක් පුළුවන් ඒකේ තුන්ලක් පොඩි කියක් ගන්න ඔව් එහෙම වෙනවා අඩුයිනේ ලංකාවේ අර සෝෂල් මේ අපි ගෙදරට හටි ඇටැච්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අර තමන්ගේම ගෙදර කියලා තමන්ගේම සමහරට පෙර දෙමව්පියන්ගෙන් හම්බෙච්ච ඉඩම වෙන්න ඇති. අර ඒකට ලොකු මේකක් තියෙනවනේ ඇටැච්මන්ට් එකක්. ඒතකොට අර අපි අර ඒ විදිහට ඔය ගෙදර විකුණලා වෙන එකට යන්න ටිකක් මං හිතන්නේ ඒක ලොකු අමාරුම ඩිසිෂන් එකක්. ඒක නේ.
මං හිතන්නේ අපි කරන්නට ජීවිත කාලේ පුරාම තියෙන එක තව හද ඉන්න එක. ඒ කියන්නේ තව මෙහෙම එකක් ආව නම් හොඳයි කියලා හිතෙනවා. ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නත් එනවා. මම අනිත් අයට මේ ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න දීලා එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් විතරක් අහන්නම්. දැන් දිත්වා සයික්ලෝන් එක ආවට පස්සේ ස්ට්‍රක්චරල් ඉංජිනේර් කෙනෙක් විදියට මේ කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් දැන් සමහර ලොකු බිල්ඩින් කඩම් වැටුණා, ක්‍රැක්ස් ගියා. ඊළඟට සමහර තැන්වල ස්ලිප්ස් වුණා. එතකොට එහෙම ඒ අනුව බැලුවහම මොකද්ද ෂෙයා කරන්න තියෙන ඇඩ්වයිස් එක? මං කියන්නේ දිත්ත වලින් විතරක් නෙවෙයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔක වෙනවා. සමහර ලාට තියෙනවා මේ බැමි තියෙනවා එමම අනිත් පැත්තට කඩම් වැටෙනවා.
මෙහෙම කියන්නේ මේ ප්‍රයිවට් ප්‍රැක්ටිස් එක වැඩි කරගන්න නෙවෙයි මේ කොමාරි මේ ගෙදරක් හදනකොට දැන් අපි දැන් ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන ටිකක් අමාරුම ලෑන්ඩ්ස් නේ. එක්ක කුඹුරක් වගේ එකක්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ ලොකු ස්ලෝප් එකක් තියෙන ලෑන්ඩ් එකක්. ඒ වගේ අර ගොඩාම ඉස්සර කාලේ අය ලොකු වත්තක මැද තියෙන ඉඩ මෙහෙම නෙවෙයිනේ දැන් ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒකින්ද මේ ඉංජිනේරින් ඉන්පුට් එකක් ගත්තා නම් හොඳයි. මගේ නෝටිස් වෙච්ච එක තමයි මේ යම්කිසි ඉංජිනේරින් ඉන්පුට් එකක් තිබුණ බිල්ඩින්ග්ස් වලට ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙලා නැහැ කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ එහෙම ඉංජිනේරින් ඉන්පුට් එකක් නැත්නම් විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි හිතමුකෝ මේ ඔය ගඟ අයිනේ තිබුණ බිල්ඩින්ග්ස්. ඒ කියන්නේ ගඟේ රිවර් එකට තියෙන රිවර් එම්බැග්මන්ට් එකේ හදලා ඒ කියන්නේ අන්ऑතොරයිස්ඩ් ඒවා නෙමෙයි. අන්ऑතොරයිස්ඩ් ඒවා තියෙනවා. ඒ අන්ऑතොරයිස්ඩ් උනත් ඔතොරයිස්ඩ් උනත් මේ ඒ වගේ බැංක් එක හදපු ඒවල ලොකු ප්‍රොබ්ලම් එකක් තියෙනවා මේ ගං වතුර ඇවිල්ලා වතුර මට්ටම උඩට නගින්නකොට නෙමෙයි. මේ ගං වතුර ඉවරලා වතුර මට්ටම පහළට බහිනකොට තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ ඉන්නේ. එතකොට අර ෆවුන්ඩේෂන් එකට යටින් කව වෙලා හොදාගෙන ගිහිල්ලා බිල්ඩින් එක පෙරලෙනවා ගඟට. ඉතින් අපි ඔය ඒ වගේ අපිට ඉංජිනේරින් ඉන්පුට් එකක් තිබුණා නම් අපි ඕකේ ෆවුන්ඩේෂන් ඩෙප්ත් එක තමයි ගොඩක් වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ සයිට් එකේ හැටියට. ඉතින් ෆවුන්ඩේෂන් එකේ ඩෙප්ත් එක යටි වැඩි අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රමාණයට වැඩි කරලා තිබුණා නම් එතන තියෙන සොයිල් එකේ හැටියට එතකොට අර ෆවුන්ඩේෂන් එක යට තියෙන එතකොට ඒකට යටින් හොදාගෙන යන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වගේ ඉතින් අර රිටේනින් වෝල්ස් වලත් ඒ වගේ ටිකක් තියෙනවා මේ අර ඔය දැන් අපිට ඔය හැම වෙලේම ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ එක්කෝ ලෑන්ඩ් එකේ පල්ලෙහා ස්ලෝප් එක නැත්නම් උඩ පැත්තනේ. ඒතර යටට ගියොත් අර කණු ටික කණු උඩ ගෙදර හදන්න ඕනේ. ඇල්ල පැත්තට ගියොත් ලොකු රිටේනින් වෝල්ස් දාන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට රිටේනින් වෝල්ස් එනකොටත් අපි අර මේ ඒ ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එකේ වෝටර් ලෙවල් එක උඩට යනකොට අපි මේ ඒ කියන්නේ පයිප්ස් දාලා මේ රිටේනින් වෝල් එකේ වෝටර් ප්‍රෙෂර් එක අඩු කරලා ඒ විදිහට යම් කිසි එතකොට මේ ඇක්ෂන් එකක් අරගෙන තිබුණා නම් එතකොට ඔය එන ප්‍රශ්න අඩු වෙනවා. ඉතින් මට ජෙනරලි කියන්න තියෙන්නේ මේ ඉංජිනේරින් ඉන්පුට් එකක් අරගෙන කරන එක තමයි හොඳ කියලා. මේ දැන් ඉස්සරහට අර ක්ලයිමේට් චේන්ජ් එකත් එක්ක දැන් මේ සැරේ 47 ආවට පස්සේ 2025 ආවට ඊළඟ එක ඊට වඩා ඉක්මනට එයි කියලා තමයි මගේ අදහස තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒකින්ද අපි ඒකට ඉතින් ලෑස්ති වෙලා ඉන්න ඕනේ. අපිම කරපු ඒවනේ රිටර්න් එක හම්බ වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒකින්ද
තව ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න පුළුවන්.
thank you very much.